Welcome back, Raccoon players, and this is how you set up roles. First, you're going to need your maker pen. You can find your maker pen in your backpack by opening up your watch, and then going to your backpack. You can either favor your maker pen and pull it from your back, or you can use your maker pen and it will spawn right in front of you. This is the new role chip. This is really great because you can actually save roles with your inventions now. That means if someone actually downloads your invention and you have high circuitry, they can come with the roles and no one gets confused. Let's get started. First things first, every time you spawn into a room or create a room, you're going to get these 3 role chips. Now these role chips will be applied to your room. They barely cost anything and you cannot delete them. One thing you can do is you can edit them. You can edit them by opening up your maker pen and then pressing configure and then selecting the role chip. You can edit that role chip. You can edit the shared settings and you can edit the locomotion settings. You can also edit your roles in your watch by opening up your watch and then going to this room, go to settings and then go to roles. And you can edit these roles. Let's say we want to edit the roles for everyone by pressing this gear symbol, and then our maker pen will spawn right in front of us. Go ahead and grab that maker pen and then we can edit our roles here for locomotion or shared settings. Now that we went over how we can configure these roles, this is how you create a new role. So now that we have learned how to configure these chips, one of the questions is, how do you create a new role? Well, you can create a new role by going to your maker pen, opening up your palette, and then going to gadgets, and then we're going to go to game chips. On the second page of game chips, we're going to see role chip here. I'm going to go ahead and spawn that in. And that is a new role chip. So to do that, we're going to configure this chip. So we're just going to pull up our maker pen, then press configure, and then select the chip, and then we're going to edit the role here. Now these are the shared settings of the role. You can select any of these. Now if you want your creators or your hosts or your co-owners to be able to fly, you can select fly and apply that role to those permissions. And so forth. Same with voice roll off, very useful there. But we're going to go ahead and go to locomotion, and we have all of these settings here. We can do slide down slopes, can wall run, can ram, but I just want to select can wall run. So I'm going to go ahead and select that, toggle that to yes, and then voila. So my role chip is now applying the run role. So what I can do is actually I can name this as well. So if you have role name, you can modify that name, and we're going to call this run. So now that we set up our wall running role, we just need to apply it to our permissions. Now I can apply this role by configuring everyone, in-game or eliminated, but instead of actually doing that, I created a separate role. And the reason why I did that is if I want a role to be applied or to be removed by a trigger zone, so if they're playing this course and I want to remove the wall running role at some point in the course, I want to create a separate role for that. But for right now, I'm just going to apply it to everyone. To do that, I'm going to open up my watch, go to this room, then go to permissions, and then go to everyone. Now, if I created a fly role, I can automatically apply that role to co-owner, hosts, or everyone. If I was creating voice roll-off, for example, like I showed you, I can also apply that to just my co-owners being louder, my hosts being louder, and to everyone being a lot quieter, which actually makes it really useful for events. But in this case, I'm just going to apply the wall running role to everyone by pressing this gear symbol here. And then I'm going to go to miscellaneous over here, and then I'm going to select auto assigned game roles. Go ahead and select that box, and then we're just going to go ahead and edit. We're going to add the role here by selecting this box here, and then I'm going to just say run. Alright, so that's calling this tag here, which is run. Alright, so now that we have that applied, we're just going to press done, and now that role is applied to all the permissions for everyone. Now you can change those settings by going and open up your maker pen, configuring, and then edit the role. So you can apply any of these settings to whichever permissions you would like to set, whether that's for your co-owners, or your hosts, or just everyone in the room. It's very useful. I recommend doing it, especially if you're running events and setting up games. Okay, so my role is now named Run, so I'm gonna go ahead and move this over here. So now that everybody can wall run, the only issue is that I don't really want them to run on this lava. Now I can make this decoration, but doing so will allow players to go through it and might bounce off some other things. I don't really want that. So what I can do is open up my maker pen, go to configure here, select on the shape, and then supports wall run. We're gonna deselect that. So now players can't wall run on this shape. So that is how you can create your own roles in your maps. Now you find these videos helpful, please like and subscribe. And remember, be creative and give it your Rec Room best.